हमें देखने को मिल रहा है।
The death toll due to consumption of spurious liquor has risen to above 30 in the state of Bihar.
Burning question.
जिन्होंने हिंदुस्तान के 20 जवानों को शहीद किया, जो हमारे जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पीट रहे हैं।
Rahul Gandhi joining hands with Mufti now to attack the army. He says our soldiers were thrashed by the Chinese. The army pushed out the Chinese, but Rahul Gandhi is targeting our forces. Is there a lack of plain, simple understanding? The BJP stages a protest outside the Pakistan High Commission over Bilawal Bhutto's personal attack on the Prime Minister.
My advice is please clean up your act. Please try to be a good neighbor. Please try and contribute to what the rest of the world is trying to do today.
The External Affairs Minister setting the record straight by warning Pakistan to stop practicing terror. With Mamata Banerjee on stage, Amitabh Bachchan says questions being raised on freedom of expression.
मरोगे इसका तो और ज्यादा हम प्रचार करवाएंगे। तो दारू पी के मर जाएगा तो उसको हम लोग कंपनसेशन देंगे, सवाल ही नहीं पैदा होता। ये कभी मत सोचिएगा।
Over 50 people are dead because of spurious liquor in his state, and the Chief Minister says no question of any compensation. A very good evening. The show is called The Burning Question and I'm Deepti Sachdeva. We begin this edition of the news with a story that has to be told. Because this, ladies and gentlemen, is a story that has a pattern. Now, we do not know whether Rahul Gandhi does not understand the facts, or Rahul Gandhi is plain simple misguided, or Rahul Gandhi does not care, or Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party do not want to fight elections in India, but instead, perhaps in China or Pakistan. Otherwise, what explains the fact that Rahul Gandhi and his party, day in and day out, remember, have to side with either China or Pakistan? Now, in a fresh controversy, what has Rahul Gandhi said? Rahul Gandhi says that our troops, that is Indian forces, were beaten by the PLA. Clearly oblivious to the entire statement that was put out factually, point by point, by the Raksha Mantri in the parliament. But the question we are asking, for how long? For how long can Rahul Gandhi be allowed to cross the red line, and for how long can he get away by insulting our forces? Let's quickly listen in to the exact statement that has been made by Rahul Gandhi, who right now is on a Bharat Jodo Yatra.
मगर चाइना के बारे में एक सवाल नहीं पूछा जाएगा। जिन्होंने 2000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर हिंदुस्तान का उठा लिया, जिन्होंने हिंदुस्तान के 20 जवानों को शहीद किया, जो हमारे जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पीट रहे हैं, उन्होंने उनका पूरा प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है। उनका लद्दाख की साइड और अरुणाचल की साइड पूरा ऑफेंसिव प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है। हिंदुस्तान की सरकार सोई हुई है। इस बात को हिंदुस्तान की सरकार सुनना नहीं चाहती है, मगर उनका प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है और प्रिपरेशन युद्ध का है। प्रिपरेशन कोई इंकर्जन का नहीं है, प्रिपरेशन युद्ध का है। मगर चाइना के बारे में एक सवाल नहीं पूछा जाएगा। जिन्होंने 2000 स्क्वायर किलोमीटर हिंदुस्तान का उठा लिया, जिन्होंने हिंदुस्तान के 20 जवानों को शहीद किया, जो हमारे जवानों को अरुणाचल प्रदेश में पीट रहे हैं, उन्होंने उनका पूरा प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है। उनका लद्दाख की साइड और अरुणाचल की साइड पूरा ऑफेंसिव प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है। हिंदुस्तान की सरकार सोई हुई है। इस बात को हिंदुस्तान की सरकार सुनना नहीं चाहती है, मगर उनका प्रिपरेशन चल रहा है और प्रिपरेशन युद्ध का है। प्रिपरेशन कोई इंकर्जन का नहीं है, प्रिपरेशन युद्ध का है।
So that is, remember, ladies and gentlemen, just a bit of what Rahul Gandhi has said. He also later has spoken about the fact that the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, needs to read up because he says he's not aware of the facts. So we today would want to know what really is the source that is telling Rahul Gandhi, you know, a fact or an information that the entire country does not know about. In fact, even if you look on the social media, we haven't seen any videos of the Indian soldiers there being beaten by the PLA. So let me say good evening to Shazia Ilmi, the national spokesperson of the BJP, Major General G.D. Bakshi Saab, who's joining us on the broadcast, along with Ashutosh, and we'll also have George Kurian, who's a political strategist leaning towards the Congress party in a bit. But I want to take my first question to Ashutosh Mishra. Ashutosh, do you agree with what Rahul Gandhi has said?
Especially in the case of China policy, Modi ji doesn't deserve criticism, but needs to be sympathized for his naivety. The Chinese premier has been taking him for a ride for the last 8 years. China has been cheating us, has been backstabbing us constantly. And what is happening? You will ban apps, but imports from China will increase. There are more than 174 Chinese companies in India. There are more than 3,500 companies which have Chinese. And Modi ji, when there is an incursion, will tell us, na koi ghusa hua hai, na koi ghuspat hui hai. That is, and it's not that only Rahul Gandhi.
But Ashutosh, you know, Ashutosh, I just want to ask you one simple question before I open this up with General G.D. Bakshi Saab and Shazia. One simple question. Rahul Gandhi says that China is beating our soldiers in Arunachal. China is preparing for war. He says, I can see it. He has more information. He says our soldiers are beaten up by the Chinese. They are pushed back. I want to know, where is the source of information? You know, have you seen a video like this? Who's telling Rahul Gandhi all this? And why is it that he does not want to listen and understand what our army says, what our Raksha Mantri says?
So, why doesn't the government listen to the Ladakh councillor who says that China has intruded into our grazing land, who talks about the difficulties being faced there? Why is the government not listening to people on ground?
Fantastic.
That is a more pertinent question. Because
No, Ashutosh.
You're trying
you want to run with the hare and hunt with the hound, but not on an issue of national security, please. You know, Ashutosh, there's no point in raising our pitch because it's the same, simple thing. Simple thing, Ashutosh, I am asking you this for the third time. Is there any video? Is there any evidence? Is there any proof that shows that our soldiers are being beaten by the Chinese? Is there any proof? Yes or no?
There are satellite pictures which show how China has been strengthening its positions, how it has been bringing heavy artillery. So let's not deny the fact. Let's not try to.
Are you an expert? Is Rahul Gandhi an expert that he can just see those satellite imagery? G.D. Bakshi Saab and Rahul Gandhi can infer that our soldiers are being beaten by the Chinese, but you will not see this undated video. I'm just requesting our producers to put out that video on our screens, Ashutosh. I'm not sure if you've seen it or you've seen it, but you do not want to talk about it because it does not suit your narrative. This is an undated video, but not very long ago. Look very closely. George Kurian is also joining us on the broadcast. So good evening to you also, George. This is an undated video, Ashutosh. Look at this very, very, very carefully. Because you are not understanding the damage that you're doing to the morale of our forces, Ashutosh, and there has to be a red line. Here you have the Indian army our forces literally pushing back the PLA. They had to run away, Ashutosh. How will you juxtapose this with what Rahul Gandhi has said? Ashutosh, quickly.
That's an old video. Dipti, that has been old video that has been fact-checked by media.
If it is an old video, no, do you know the date of this video?
The date is
how old is it?
Year-old video. That's a fact-checked video by a media house, your competitor. And the fact is.
Sorry. Did you just say it's manufactured by a media house? You said that is manufactured by a media house, Ashutosh?
It has been fact-checked.
Appalling. I want to let General G.D. Bakshi Saab come in here. Ashutosh, you are also crossing the line much like Rahul Gandhi. General G.D. Bakshi Saab, this is Ashutosh Mishra who says that this video that we have seen of the brave Sikh regiment pushing the PLA is manufactured by the media.
You are lying.
That's what he's saying.
Don't play this BJP trick. I said fact.
You just said this.
Manufacture. You are twisting my words.
One second, Ashutosh. Just rewind to what you just said 10 seconds ago. I asked you this twice. You said it's a manufactured video.
You are now manufacturing news. You are putting words into my mouth. I never used the word manufactured.
What an absolute shame. Ashutosh, you can't defend anything, so let's start lying. Let's blame the media, let's blame the social media, everyone that's putting out that picture. I don't know why.
That's what you are doing is lying, and you are trying to say things which I didn't say.
Ashutosh, 1 second. Listen into the General G.D. Bakshi Saab.
Also join in this debate, or it's a monologue? Thank you. You see, the fact of the matter is, official statements on the floor of the House have been made by the Raksha Mantri. The army has issued official statements, right? And thereafter, as citizens, we have seen a lot of videos on not only this, there are other videos also floating on the net, which quite clearly, to an old soldier, give a clear impression of who is on the back foot, who is pushing. And this clearly our boys. Look at them wielding the sticks. Look at the Chinese, and the end of this video shows them breaking contact and hightailing it back home. So the facts are, I think, fairly obvious to the whole gentry. I heard Rahul Gandhi's statement. He was being quite childishly repetitive and saying that we are doing nothing, China is preparing. Yes, there is a lot of intelligence reports that China has started making preparations, is enhancing its infrastructural capability, troop levels. But the fact of the matter is, are we sitting back and doing nothing? I'm sorry, that's not correct. Just yesterday and today, we've had a major air exercise. Our Rafales, our Su-30s, our Mirages, our attack helicopters, our Huey Cobra helicopters, our Apache helicopters, our heavy lift Chinook helicopters, our Hercules aircraft, they have all been put to the test. They're all being deployed. Our S-400 missiles are being put to the test. They are being tested out in the exercise. I hope you know that we have test-fired the Agni 5 intercontinental ballistic missile that can blast Beijing if required. I don't think that is my definition of sitting back and twiddling our thumbs or doing nothing. Right? Right as we speak, on the 15th and the 16th, this massive air exercise has been on. For the past quite number of months, our troop levels there have been increased. The fact is that the Chinese came in a strength of 300. They were thwarted. And immediately our reinforcements were rushed up in time to push them back. You can see them disengaging, and now you will see them hightailing. Right? So to say that we are doing nothing is unfair. Patently unfair. I think you need to do fact checks. You need to do fact checks. And especially on a day when this air exercise is on its final day. S-400s are on the test. The Rafales, the frontline fighters that we have are on the test. Our intercontinental ballistic missiles are being test fired. You can't get any clearer in your signaling. So what more do you want? What more do you want? That's what we would like to understand. You signed
yes,
that
General
treaty
Saab,
of
let's take
peace
that
and
question.
tranquility,
Let's take that question to
which
George
forbade our
Kurian.
troops from
Ashutosh,
using their
I will
weapons
get
and
you in.
ammunition.
Absolutely. Yes. So, George Kurian, what else do you need? And why should you have Rahul Gandhi, who repeatedly lies when it comes to national security?
Well, Dipti, before I begin, let me pay homage to those brave soldiers of the Indian Army who led to a victory in 1971. Rahul Gandhi, let me make it very clear to your audience that Rahul Gandhi has not lied when he was addressing the press. All he meant is that India needs to come out, rather the government and center needs to come out of their, what do you call it, event management kind of a, area in there which they are actually capable and they are leading at this moment in time. So they need to come out and they need to read between the lines where the Chinese PLA troops are actually not trying to come into an incursion kind of a mode. They are trying to get into a war kind of war footing. So he is making he is not questioning the capability or the potential of the Indian Army. He's confident that the Indian Army has the potential, has the valor in them to fight any situation, given situation. But the point is that the government and the center...
He didn't say that, George. Yes. My question is simple. Rahul Gandhi didn't say any of that. I have the exact verbatim translation of what he said. Now, just think of this for a moment. Like General G.D. Bakshi Saab has perfectly described this video that's playing out on our screens. And this, George, is one of the many videos. And you and I sitting here cannot even fathom what conditions they stay in, they fight in. And don't make this a thankless job. The least that you can do is recognize, their valor. Salute their valor, George, because when you have Rahul Gandhi, the leader of the Congress party, saying that our soldiers are being beaten by the PLA of China, and instead, you have our Jawans who are pushing the PLA again and again and again, thwarting every of their sinister attempt, giving them a bloody nose every time. Can you just think of the morale of our forces? Can you think of the morale of their families?
Exactly. Coming to that, what Rahul Gandhi is trying to put it across to the audience here is that when he says that, India needs to put itself in a situation to take on China at any given point in time, because China at this point in time is not trying to come in a incursion kind of a mode, but rather in a war kind of a mode, because it's trying to build up the infrastructure across their side. And right from Ladakh up to Himachal and Uttarakhand, and on the eastern side, the Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh, we are seeing this ongoing Chinese troops who are coming into the Indian side, and so this is an ongoing thing which is being hidden from the general public at large. So Rahul Gandhi is trying to say that India needs to come out, and the government at the center needs to come out of the. They have to come out to a very...
No, but George, before I come to you, Shazia, with your permission, I want to ask one more question of George Kurian, something that I had also asked Ashutosh, but he failed to respond. George, just sticking to a fact where he says that China is beating our soldiers in Arunachal, have you seen any video? Do you have any proof, or is Rahul Gandhi getting his information from elsewhere, but not the Indian Army, not the Raksha Mantri here, not from what the Raksha Mantri has said on the floor of the House? Does he trust the Chinese more this time? And even the Chinese this time, George, haven't been able to put out any video instead that is showing them, giving the Indian soldiers a bloody nose. It's the other way around. And that is why, China had to lie to say that, listen, it's India that was wanting to enter into our part of the LAC. I mean, that is the reality. That is how wounded the PLA was this time.
That's right. Actually, this goes both ways. Indian soldiers have also given a befitting reply to the Chinese PLA troops. So it's both ways. It's not just that Indian soldiers have been getting the thrash.
So why doesn't Rahul Gandhi recognize that? On a day like today, when you're celebrating the Vijay Diwas, George, why can't Rahul Gandhi just say that I stand with my forces, I salute their valor? The point is that is Modi hatred, Shazia Ilmi, now being turned into the hatred and the mistrust of our armed forces, and that is where the problem begins, Shazia. They're anything for politics.
Well, absolutely. I'm first of all, I would like to say I'm not just, had I not been amused at the remarks made by Rahul Gandhi, I would have been deeply saddened. But thankfully, they were so puerile and, so juvenile and childish that one couldn't take them very seriously. Now, instead of, you just see, but there is a defense minister who has clarified and enunciated all the action that is happening, all that is being done. Instead of recognizing the valor of our Jawans, which is there for everybody to see in the video, all Rahul Gandhi can say at this point of time is, just to humiliate the BJP or the government, he's ready to humiliate our own forces when it's not even true. So now instead of asking questions on what Krishna Menon did and the military reverses of 62 and the 38,000 square kilometers of land that was actually gifted over to China at that point of time, or the loss of permanent seat at UNSC, and of course we can go to deeper matters as to what was really written in the MOU signed by signed between the Gandhi family and the Communist Party of India, and of course the Chinese embassy having given so much of money, I think more than 1 crore, 1.5 crores almost, 1 crore 35 odd lakhs to Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, instead of answering any question on that and standing with the forces at this point of time, he not only uses this moment also to score political brownie points. So I'm very deeply saddened, one, as an Indian, but as a party person I am very amused. And I want to say one more thing, and a last thing that I want to say, please allow me to say it. I was not just the Prime Minister, the way he tried to give advice about a foreign minister, Minister of External Affairs, Jay Shankar ji, who is literally, he's got quite a iconic status in the world now because of how he speaks and enunciates our foreign policy and Indian interests. Rahul Gandhi takes a pot shot and says something quite, again, amusing, I would say, but almost ludicrous, that he should have more depth. Now, it is very sad when somebody who's
but this is serious now, Shazia, the point is it's not amusing anymore. If you see the Congress party and its conduct, there is a pattern.
Absolutely.
If you remember, Shazia, surgical strikes, they said, where is the proof? And that exactly gives a handle to rogue states like, Pakistan,
of course,
to, China, because tomorrow, Ashutosh, the Chinese media will be quoting Rahul Gandhi. Now, you tell me something. Is Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party going to be fighting elections in India or in China?
No, it's really funny that every time that China attacks us, instead of attacking China, BJP starts attacking Congress party and Rahul Gandhi. That is because they don't want to share the true facts with Indian public. And everybody...
Baba, what is the true fact according to you? That's the problem. If you cannot trust Ashutosh, the Indian army, if you cannot trust the Raksha Mantri, from where are you getting the brief? Now, either there is Ashutosh something that you really want to hear. Where are you getting your brief from? What is the true fact according to you?
The true fact is that Modi government has been weakening Indian army by delaying acquisition of arms. It has been using Agnipath sort of schemes to cut the number of soldiers. It's short of JCOs and officers. It's all there in black and white. Now it doesn't want to pay OROP. It wants more time for that. So it's actually the...
So have a debate in the parliament. No, George Kurian, before I take it to General G.D. Bakshi Saab, George Kurian, have a debate on the floor of the House. Rahul Gandhi doesn't have a time for a debate. His party stages a walkout. Then Manish Tiwari will come out and comment on deployment. So why don't you do this on the floor of the House? Put the government on the mat. But the point is, why are you using the Indian army to settle your scores?
Dipti, it's not about Rahul Gandhi not having the time to debate on the floor of the House, as we all aware that, the opposition hardly gets any space as far as debates and discussions on the floor of the House is concerned. And matter concerning to such importance has to be given importance to discuss on the floor of the House. National security.
I mean, you're telling me that you play the victim card all the time, and Shazia Ilmi, no one will say anything. Who staged a walkout the last time? George Kurian, can you tell me?
See, opposition
was
has
Rahul Gandhi present in the floor of the House? He could have raised these issues.
So it's not about Rahul Gandhi's presence on the floor of the House.
When the enforcement directorate, when Shazia, I can't hear Shazia, but George, tell me something. Just to build the brand called Rahul Gandhi, you're having this Bharat Jodo Yatra. You complain the media does not give you space. We call you for debates, you run away. You have YouTube channels that are broadcasting a lot of Congress's content. So tell me, why can't you put that issue out? I mean, question the government for all that you want, George. But the point is, when it comes to national security, why can't it just be the Indian response instead of the BJP versus the Congress?
See, all Rahul Gandhi is trying to put it across is that, BJP needs to come out of the event management kind of a role that they are currently playing at this point in time. They need to increase the morale of the Indian Army by giving them increasing the morale. What am I trying to say? And because we are seeing this ongoing standoff between the Chinese PLA troops across the actual line of control, right from the western side until the eastern side of the Chinese border. So the point is, nobody is questioning the potential or the capability of the Indian Army. We are confident that the Indian Army is well equipped with all the latest technology that it can have. But it is only the
Rahul Gandhi, George Kurian did not say that. I just want to give the last word to Shazia Ilmi. Shazia Ilmi, I want to ask you one question that a lot of our viewers are asking. They are saying, for how long can you, as in the government, allow Rahul Gandhi to make such remarks which are nothing but lies about national security? Had it been a common person, raising questions on what the Raksha Mantri has said, he would have been booked by now. Why is the BJP not acting? Why is the government not acting against such people spreading lies and canards?
I don't think, I think Rahul Gandhi does himself the biggest disservice. And I think it's very sad because he cut such a sorry figure that people don't take him seriously, you see. So booking him under any provision of the law whatsoever does not really...
Every time, why all the BJP leaders are attacking Rahul Gandhi if you don't take him seriously? So that's the matter is, what he says bites you. You will not talk about...
He is attacking our armed forces. He is insulting our armed forces. If we ask a question, Ashutosh, how is that wrong? How is that wrong, Ashutosh?
Yeah, and he's completely lying.
Is Rahul Gandhi only for whining and dining with the former Chinese ambassador? Is the Congress party only for signing pacts with the Communist Party? And Rahul Gandhi can sit here and deride our forces. Why? Because he wants to settle scores with Narendra Modi. Keep your politics out of this.
Spoken about how BJP
that's a problem. That's a problem. See, do you remember when Aam Aadmi Party also criticized the...
if they believe Shazia, that they'll get votes.
But look at Rahul Gandhi.
They've had a reality check in 2014 and 2019.
Talking about Rajnath Singh.
Absolutely. I leave it there. The viewers are wise. I leave it to the wisdom of our viewers to decide why should Rahul Gandhi be allowed to make these deliberate statements again and again and again. I thank Shazia Ilmi and all gentlemen for speaking to us. General Bakshi, we've just run out of time. Apologies, sir. But this is a story that we continue to keep our top focus on. And as remember, a lot of you are already saying there is a pattern. There is a pattern. This is deliberate. But why to use the armed forces for your own political gains. Does Rahul Gandhi not understand what's going on? Does he not hear what the Raksha Mantri said? We'll keep asking those questions. Let's take this edition of The Burning Question ahead with our colleague Abhishek, who's also joining us now. And Abhishek, what are you going to be debating?
Well, from one prince to another, across the border. That's about Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, Deepthi, and Pakistan's foreign minister. He has made some outlandish comments against India on Kashmir, on Prime Minister. Bilawal is the prince of Pakistan People's Party, like we have one this side of the border as well. And as it happens with most princes, they are thrice removed from reality. To be foreign minister of a cooked up government, because the army was fed up with his earlier choice, should not have made Bilawal lose sight of the fact that he lost his mother to terrorism. The scene of crime was washed with a hose pipe even before post-mortem could be completed on Benazir. Benazir's death was never investigated. Despite her husband, Asif Ali Zardari, Bilawal's father becoming president of Pakistan. There are many ironies and outright stupidities in the lecture Bilawal gave from New York. But let's look at this bite pelt of reactions coming in on this, and then we debate.
The question of justifying what the world regards as unacceptable should not even arise. That certainly applies to state sponsorship of cross-border terrorism. Nor can hosting Osama bin Laden and attacking a neighboring parliament serve as credentials to sermonize before this council. If you have, I'm giving you the sense, it's not an exact quote, that if you have snakes in your backyard, you can't expect them to bite only your neighbors. Eventually, they will bite the people who keep them in the backyard. Pakistan is not great on taking good advice, and you see what's happening there. In terms of what they are saying, look, the truth is everybody, the world today sees them as the epicenter of terrorism.
All right, that was rapier-sharp External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, really ripping apart the comments made by Bilawal Bhutto Zardari of Pakistan and clearly holding a mirror. He might speak good English, Bilawal, but he does not understand the nuances of diplomacy, nor does he understand the basic fact that Pakistan is hardly respected in the Committee of Nations. Also, remember, he was speaking from a platform where he was not in his capacity as External Affairs Minister of Pakistan, and in fact, he was there because of Pakistan being chair of G77. And to misuse that platform for a bilateral issue, I think even that perhaps needs to be raised at the United Nations. Shazia Ilmi, national spokesperson of the BJP, continues to be with us from earlier debate. We also have veteran diplomat Achal Kumar Malhotra, former diplomat, live from Delhi. And then to give us Pakistan view, we have Nadir Gabol, Vice President of Pakistan People's Party. And of course, he too is a former diplomat. So we have two former diplomats in this debate. Let's make it interesting and let's make it substantive, most importantly. If I could begin with Achal Kumar Malhotra, we know the Pakistan view, Mr. Malhotra. The kind of language that Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, the foreign minister of Pakistan, has used today, on Kashmir, on Prime Minister of India, does it even show basic understanding of how to conduct yourself from international platforms and on such complex, complicated issues like Kashmir? And does it even reflect on how he sees Pakistan's relationship with India, delicately poised as it is always? Mr. Malhotra? Okay, there seems to be some audio issue with Mr. Malhotra. I'll try and connect that. Let me take this to Nadir Gabol then. Nadir ji.
Yes.
Pakistan People's Party के leader है आपके Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. Does he understand how Pakistan has suffered from terror Does he even remember that today is anniversary of December 16 attack on Army Public School of Peshawar 8 years back? To be putting the blame on India, onus on India, when people in Pakistan have suffered because of its own deep state. Are you being responsible from such an important platform like the United Nations?
Thank you for asking me a very good, valid question. Yes, absolutely. Bilawal Saab and the entire world knows that Pakistan itself has suffered the most at the hands of terrorism. Unfortunately, when most people do victim blaming, we are the victims of terrorism. We have suffered more lives due to terrorism than any other country in the world. So we know exactly how dangerous of a threat terrorism is. And that is why we get more hurt when other countries, well, not other countries, it's only usually India who blames us to be supporting terrorism. How can you say that? We have suffered, our economy has suffered, our people have died, our army men have died. We are more against terrorism than anybody else can imagine or anybody else can claim to be. What Bilawal said today was basically calling a spade a spade. He was asked a question, there was a reference made to Osama bin Laden or us hosting Osama bin Laden. Are you trying to tell me that if we hosted Osama bin Laden, then America would still talk to us? Who kept Osama bin Laden on the most wanted list? It was by America, correct?
America stopped talking to you, Nadir, America is not talking to you. Remember, it was Pakistani duplicity and the difficult situation Americans found themselves in, that they had no option but to do business with Pakistan. And Americans know what you did, the double dealing that Pakistan did with the Americans, So it's not about and are you admitting that your intelligence, your ISI are so incompetent that they did not know for 5 years that Osama bin Laden was living right under their nose in Abbottabad?
Well, are you saying that CIA is so incompetent, FBI and other intelligence agencies are so incompetent that Osama bin Laden was living in Pakistan, in Abbottabad for so many years? Listen, first of all, I'm not saying that our ISI agencies or other intelligence agencies knew about Osama bin Laden's existence. I don't know how he got there. Nobody knows how he got there. Even CIA does not know how he got there and how long he was living there. We still yet have not seen, any proof that he actually was there, other than obviously the US claiming that he was there. From Pakistan's side, we don't know if he was there or not. There was an attack carried out at a house in Abbottabad, and the US president at the time, Mr. Obama, claimed that Osama bin Laden was killed. The world at that time was asking for proof that, can you show us his dead body? Can you show us some photos? Can you give us some proof? But no proof was given. Again, I don't want to get into that controversy.
Nadir, you are still in denial. Nadir, for God's sake, you are still in denial. I began with a very, very poignant, important question for you, for your nation's destiny, about Pakistan today mourning the terror attack at the Army Public School in Peshawar, and you are, from there, you begin from there, and you get into whataboutery, you go into denial. It's not good for you. Do you understand? It's not good for you, for your country's future, Nadir. It's not. I am shielded. We have a fence. We have a fantastic fence. We have a great army defending our borders. We'll take care of ourselves. The problem is, you are not realizing, perhaps because of this Stockholm syndrome, the snakes you have been breeding. I'll come to that. I'll come to that comment of Hillary Clinton also, by the way. But let me get in Mr. Achal Kumar Malhotra on that. Sir, we are seeing a situation where Pakistan continues to be in denial. We have their foreign minister indulging in whataboutery from New York, trying to bring in Kashmir from a platform where no bilateral issues should be discussed. And then we have our guest from Pakistan, Nadir, saying, we did not know Osama bin Laden was there.
Well, Abhishek, as far as Pakistan is concerned, as far as its leadership is concerned, whosoever is in the power, they are trying to, build up a narrative, a false narrative, and they have been trying to internationalize the Kashmir issue for so many days, and I must say they have entirely failed. Even the Organization of Islamic Countries, OIC, refuses to rise up to their baits. They tried when we abrogated Article 370. They tried to have a foreign minister, meeting in the OIC. Nobody paid any attention to that. But repeatedly, every time they get an opportunity, they try to, tarnish India's image. They are trying to provoke the Indian Muslims as if, building up a narrative that the government of India is, is being unfair to them. Little do they realize that all competent Muslims in India have reached the topmost positions right from the day one till today. So that is one aspect they have failed time and again. There was a time when we were keeping quiet, we were, a little mild, but of late we have been bold, we are calling out whenever they talk nonsense, we have to get back to them. And as far as Bilal's statement is, what he said, I think it's utterly disappointing. He has brought down the levels of diplomacy to the lowest. I think he never deserved to be appointed to the position he is holding. And we all know why he has been appointed to that position. If he was sent to New York, he should have been tutored at least in the basics of diplomacy. He should have been told how you handle situations like this. Very unfortunate.
So you have made two important points, sir. You have made two important points. One is Pakistan's isolation of a level where after abrogation of Article 370, Pakistan failed to get a special session of the OIC on Kashmir, and that gives you an idea of the standing of Pakistan within the Islamic countries. Shazia, the kind of language that Bilawal has used, BJP of course carried out protests outside the Pakistan embassy in New Delhi. You think India, and your party is in power, India should take it to the next level and scale up the kind of disengagement that we have with Pakistan and really downgrade the diplomatic equation even further?
I think that the only thing that got downgraded totally is the foreign ministry of Pakistan and the minister, who has really his outbursts, uncivilized and uncouth and uncalled for as it was, just displays a complete lack of decency, education, and as somebody mentioned, the basic etiquette of conversational diplomacy, to say the least. And it would really do them good to really look inwards. But while we have engaged and in dialogue, and so much has happened in the history of India and Pakistan, and as a foreign ministry said, that this outburst was not just completely depraved and bankrupt, but it also goes on to show the whole level at which Pakistan is operating now. And that is quite sad for everybody to watch, not just India, but the entire world, as to where. And this is the kind of person who's sitting in the chair of foreign ministry of Pakistan, a country which houses, for whom Osama bin Laden is a martyr, whether it's Lakhvi or Masood Azhar, and 24 UN designated terror outfits and about 127 terror designated terrorists.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what to say. It's like it's very sad to hear. Yeah. So it is
Shazia,
absolutely
purely for want of time.
Sad to hear a foreign minister stoop to this level and just goes on to say that just speaking good English and being entitled and using your family name to become a foreign minister and to come up with this says a lot about you than in India or its foreign policy. I think this reveals so much about Pakistan and,
Shazia,
and the state of diplomacy and the statecraft there. And
Shazia, this we can really have a very long debate on this, unfortunately for want of time. Look at the ironies. Bilawal lost his mother to terror. And of course, Nadir's leader, Benazir Bhutto. And then Bilawal lost two of his maternal uncles to terror of the deep state. Bilawal lost his grandfather to Pakistan army terror. And today is anniversary of the Army Public School Peshawar attack in which almost 150 Pakistani children lost their lives. And we know who killed them. It was tragic. And also it is Vijay Diwas, anniversary of Pakistan splitting into two and the birth of Bangladesh. Remember, all this happened because there is something wrong with Pakistan. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, instead of introspecting and looking into it on a day as this, is trying to deflect the attention of the world by bringing in Kashmir, which is not an issue anymore, and India's internal politics. He better focus on Pakistan's foreign affairs. Pakistan's forex reserves today stand at $12 billion, viewers, of which $6 billion are loaned from Saudi Arabia. Remember, Bangladesh has $27 billion. Nadir, you know, Pakistan can be bought 3 times over by Bangladesh perhaps. On that note, I have to end this debate. On the other side, we discuss another prince with Arnab Goswami in the debate.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
कुछ मेरा, कुछ तुम्हारा।
इसलिए ग्रीन लैम लैमिनेट्स, सपने आपके, लैमिनेट्स हमारा। अमेजिंग स्पेसेस के लिए कुछ मेरा, कुछ तुम्हारा।
Will smart manufacturing complement traditional manufacturing processes or replace them entirely?
India will be able to contribute approximately 5% of the global market in terms of when we talk about additive manufacturing.
What kind of opportunities does it hold for the BTech students?
Amrita University, I would say, is ideal for students who come into manufacturing, additive manufacturing.
To know more, watch Amrita School of Engineering presents Shaping the Future of India at these times only on Republic TV.
The sleeping bags of the Chinese soldier and as well as other items belonging to the PLA, they have been recovered by the troops of the Indian Army.
आर्मी के हेलीकॉप्टर गश्त कर रहे हैं। ये लेह लद्दाख से तस्वीरें आप देख सकते हैं और आज सेना का शौर्य हमें देखने को मिल रहा है।
The death toll due to consumption of spurious liquor has risen to above 30 in the state of Bihar.
It was in 1971 that the Pakistani armed forces felt the sting of the scorpion. 340 Brigade marched relentlessly deep inside East Pakistan. They took the surrender of an entire Pakistani division of force and Pakistani defenses fell one after the other. This is history replaying its part. And we are gathered here together to celebrate the spirit of Vijay Diwas, the day we won that iconic victory and Pakistan surrendered on 16th of December 1971.
Nitish Kumar, while speaking to media, said that deaths due to consumption of spurious liquor keep happening. So the BJP there demanding the apology of Nitish Kumar, the Bihar Chief Minister.
In the Shraddha case, bones that the Delhi police had recovered in the Mehrwali forest Aftab had disposed of there, those DNA samples have now matched with that of Shraddha's father.
We are hardly few meters from the line of actual control. Last point from where we can show you that how things are happening on the line of control with the Chinese side.
Huge fire has broken out in Lower Parel area of Mumbai. The Agni 5 ballistic missile being scheduled for testing the Abdul Kalam Island off the coast of Odisha.
A 50-year-old woman has been murdered 10 a.m. on Thursday at Thiruvananthapuram. Sindhu was struck on her neck and also on her head by Rajesh.